The most common question I am asked by people is, what supplements should I buy to get more muscle? But actually, there's one thing that you can be doing which is going to give you more gains than any supplements you can buy. And yes, that is sleep. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how you can utilize rest and sleep to get more gains than any supplements are going to be able to give you. When you're thinking of building muscle, you are thinking about pumping iron, you're thinking about going to the gym, lifting loads of weights, pre-workout, protein powders. These are some of the things that people invest in, but the number one thing is that you don't grow when you're in the gym.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
When you're lifting weights, you're not actually growing. You're growing when you're recovering. And when you are asleep, your body is in the perfect state for rest and recovery, i.e. you're going to get the most amount of muscle growth when you're actually asleep. So if you're somebody that is prioritizing buying the top brand of pre-workout and the top brand of protein powders and creatines, but you're only getting like 4 hours sleep when you could be optimally getting like 8 to 9 hours sleep, then you're chucking away free gains.
Oh my God!
So what actually happens when you go to sleep then? How is that actually giving you optimal amount of recovery? 1, your growth hormone actually spikes when you're asleep. Number 2, it's also going to aid balancing your hormones, specifically cortisol. Cortisol kills gains. And also if your cortisol is too high, you're going to look watery and look even worse. At the same time as repairing your muscles, it's also going to replace the glycogen stores in your muscles. So think of sleep as the real anabolic window, not the old school method about it being straight from the hour after you've trained. More like sleeping is the most anabolic time.
Yeah, buddy!
So let's take a look at what would happen if you just had one night of poor sleep. Let's say one night you just only had 4 hours sleep because you chose to stay up and watch the football, or you've played Xbox, or you've gone out and partied. Obviously, partying comes with its own implications if you're going out using other substances, which is also going to affect your sleep, or if you are just drinking, because drinking is actually going to affect your sleep even when it doesn't feel like it has. It affects your REM sleep, which is the rapid eye movement sleep, the most important sleep. That's where you're in your deepest sleep, and that's when you're going to get the most recovery. So if you've done any one of them things just for one night, it actually has a roll-on effect. Okay, roll on to the next day and also to the next day. Let's say, for example, you feel bad and you want to go to the gym the day after a night out. Then you go to the gym and you're more susceptible to getting an injury for starters, because then muscle fibers have probably not recovered properly from the session the day before or even the day before that. If you've still got 2-day DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, which you probably will have if you're training hard, then you're more susceptible to getting an injury in the gym. Not only that, you're going to have sloppy form, you're going to be slowing down your progression and your muscle recovery for the next day, and the next night you're only going to be catching up on the sleep that you didn't have the night before. So one night has a big impact on your journey. There will be people sitting behind the camera now saying, oh, well, you know, I have 6 hours sleep a night or 5 hours sleep a night, and that's just what I've always ran off of and I feel good on that sort of sleep. And that's absolutely fine. You can say that, but I can guarantee you now, if you changed from that 5 hours or even that 6 hours to 8 hours or even 9 hours, you will drastically improve the amount of muscle that you're able to put onto your body, because regardless if you think that you feel all right and you've got enough energy throughout the day, having that few hours extra sleep, quality sleep, is more time for your body to repair. So if you're pushing yourself hard in the gym, then you need to be sleeping hard.
Good fucking morning.
You need to be resting as hard as you're pushing yourself in the gym. What I want you to do now, just take a minute, put in the comments down below how many hours sleep you get on average per night. It doesn't have to be like, you know, if you've had a bad sleep, but just on average, how many hours do you think that you get per night? I personally get about 9 hours, sometimes it's 8. If I've had to work through the night, which often happens, I will make sure that I will catch up on that sleep with an extra hour or 2 on top of what I would normally average to make up for the lack of REM sleep. Again, rapid eye movement. It takes a little while to actually get into that deeper sleep where you're going to get the most amount of recovery. So how to actually fix it if you're not getting the optimal amount of sleep? Number 1, you're obviously going to want a good sleep schedule. So what does that mean? That means going to bed around the same time every night gets your body into the circadian rhythm. So you will then start to get tired at that specific time each night, and it becomes easier to get into that rhythm. I know life is hard sometimes and people don't always have that structure where they got work through the night, or whether they're getting like up early and they've got to go to the airport, travel, etc., etc. So that's not always going to be the case. But if you're someone that has a 9 to 5, or you've got a fairly good structure, you will benefit from having a set time when you're going to go to bed and a set time when you're going to get up. Even on them days off and stuff, you will still benefit from having that schedule. The biggest recommendation for actually being able to get to sleep, if you struggle to get to sleep early, you're saying, oh, okay, yeah, I lay in bed, but I'm not just going to fall asleep, which is what I used to be like as well, because I didn't realize the effect that stimulants and caffeine genuinely have a long lasting on my body. I still like to have a strong pre-workout now. I still have a pre-workout which has got 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine in it. But when I was younger, I used to have that pre-workout at any time of the day. Didn't matter. If I drove all the way home from base and I managed to get into the gym at like 10 o'clock at night, I would still smash 300 milligrams of caffeine and then come home and think I was going to be able to sleep, when it wasn't really the case.
I said to myself, no, I'm a dumb motherfucker.
But stop your caffeine or stimulants as early as possible. I didn't realize, but caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours. 6 hours. So if you are someone that goes and trains at the classic 5 o'clock time in the gym, pumping the weights, and you've had your 300 milligrams of caffeine by 11 o'clock at night, you're still going to have the half-life, which is the effects of 150 milligrams of caffeine still running through your body, hindering the quality of sleep and your ability to get to sleep at that time. You might not feel like you're buzzed up and jittery, but it's still going to be in your system, affecting the ability to get to sleep and the quality of your sleep. This also goes for coffee and teas. You might think, yeah, okay, coffee, I wouldn't have a coffee late at night, but remember, the half-life is 6 hours. So if you're having any coffee after midday, it's still going to be 6 hours before it's had its half-life. Not before it's completely left your system, before it's at its half-life. Also, tea also has caffeine. Even the decafs have a small bit of caffeine. But obviously decaf, if you're addicted to having like a hot drink, a decaf tea is probably going to be your best option. Dark room. If you're someone that sleeps with any sort of light on in your room, aim to try to stop using light. When your body is in a room that's very bright, it produces less melatonin, which is the thing that signals your body that it's time to go to sleep. You would naturally get it from the sun going down and the earth getting dark. If we didn't have all of these bright lights like we do in this day and age, you would then get it because the sun's gone down, so you've got more melatonin in your system telling you that it's time to go to sleep. And alongside that method, I would always opt to have my curtains open, as long as it's obviously not bright outside. Say if you're working a night shift, you can't get away with this. But for me, when I go to bed, I open my curtains. So then when I wake up in the morning, the melatonin out of my body is being flushed away. So I'm feeling a lot more refreshed without having that groggy start to the day. If you're someone that is spending £50 on a pre-workout, but you're only getting 4 hours sleep a night, then you are literally pouring your money down the drain. It's not the supplement that makes you anabolic, it's actually the recovery. And if you want more bodybuilding truths like this, or raw marine related stuff, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and also send this to your mate who's always half asleep in the gym. Boom, let's get some gains.